Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now our first story comes from Candy X Crusher 89, who says, would I be the arsehole if I broke up with my boyfriend because his friends got him a me-shaped pinata? I, 22 female, and my boyfriend Matt, 22 male, have been together for a year and 8 months. Matt and I go to different universities in neighboring cities, about a 45-minute drive. Matt is in a fraternity, important for later. It was Matt's birthday on Friday, and him and I went out to dinner to celebrate. After dinner I went back to my university since I live on campus. The next evening I was on Instagram, and I clicked on one of our mutual friends' private story. I saw Matt and a bunch of his friends hitting and stomping on a pinata. By clicking through more of the stories, I figured it must have been a surprise party for Matt, since he had told me his only birthday plans were dinner with me. On the last slide of the Instagram story, I got a close-up of the pinata and it looked exactly like me. From the hair color to the skin color, even down to my septum piercing. There was no doubt that it was me. I was really confused and I screen recorded the stories and I messaged the friend who posted the story. I asked her if that was me as the pinata, and she left me on red and removed me from the close friend story. This just confirmed my suspicions. The next day I texted him and asked how his party went, and he acted confused and said he never had a party. I was confused as to why he was lying to me. I told him I saw it on a mutual friend's private story, and then he completely stopped answering. An hour later he answered and said, yeah, the guys threw me a surprise birthday party. It's a frat tradition not to talk about it though. That's when I asked him about the me-shaped pinata, and I sent him the video of him and his friends destroying it. He told me that it was not me, it was just a random pinata the guys had found. I told him to stop lying to me and that it was obviously me. I told him how hurt I was that he would allow his friends to do something like that, and all he could answer was that they would kick him out of the frat if he didn't accept it. I also brought up how if his frat had thrown him a surprise party, why wasn't I invited? I was only like 45 minutes away. And it wasn't because it was only guys, because the mutual friend who had posted on the story was a girl who goes to his university. And I saw in the story there were multiple girls there. He stopped answering me and hasn't since. It's been a day with no contact. I'm honestly considering breaking up with him over this. I've caught him in lies before, but this is too much. The video of him and his friends stomping the pinata was just so disturbing, and to find out that my face was on it. We were planning on moving in together after graduation, but honestly, I don't know anymore. Would I be the arsehole if I broke up with him over this? Now the pinata is something in itself, but it's what happened after the pinata. It was like, if it was just genuinely some stupid frat prank he was uncomfortable with, why lie about the party existing? Why pretend it never happened? Why let her find out through Instagram? Basically, why keep changing the story and then stopped responding completely? I mean, because let's face it, the pinata wasn't just some random object that they had found somewhere. It was someone actually took time to make it look like OP. Then a group of people, including her boyfriend, spent his birthday beating the crap out of it for entertainment. You know, that's some weird ass shit for me. And honestly, I don't know how fraternities work aside from seeing movies, but you know, that they would have kicked me out the frat. It just doesn't work for me at all. You know, you're 22, not fucking 12 years old. If your choices are 1, stand up for your girlfriend, or 2, participate in this weird ritual where your friends are stomping on the fake version of her, and you choose number 2, you know, maybe the frat is the least of your fucking problems. And then there's another red flag that OP wasn't invited at all in the first place, when, you know, multiple other women were there. And then combine it all together, you got the lies, the secrecy, and everything else going on. You know, it just feels like, yeah, this is some bullshit, and you've already said that he has a past of lying, so why continue with this, right? Which one of the top commenters says, why would you stay with him? He's lied before and is lying now. You're so young. Go live a wonderful life without someone who doesn't seem to value you. Commenter says, the lies plus the genuinely disturbing imagery means this isn't about the pinata. It's about who he is. Time to go. Commenter says, oh fuck no, dump him. If his friends have a tradition of beating and stomping on effigies of their girlfriend, then the whole group is garbage. Plus, he lied, and he's lied before. Mom, your man is a woman-hating loser. Trust me, There are better men out there. The commenter says, why even bother talking to him? Just ghost him. He beat a freaking pinata of you with his friends for fun. He doesn't even like you. One of those girls at his surprise party is his real girlfriend. Oh, and it was only a surprise to you. He deserves no more of your time. So, OP does come back in to update the post and says, hi everyone. Thank you for all the comments and messages. I've read each and every one of them, and I'm truly grateful for all the advice. Update. So, Matt texted me back after a full day of incognito. He finally admitted that yes, the pinata was supposed to be me. He said it was just a joke and it was meant to be funny. I told him how disrespectful and disturbing that was. I ended up breaking up with him and told him I wasn't going to stay with a man-child who was going to disrespect me for the fun of him and his friends. He completely lost it and begged me to stay. He was apologizing and saying he didn't want to lose me and blah blah blah. After I made it clear I wasn't going to take him back, he literally sent me a video of him making out with mutual friend. I don't know what the point of that was. Maybe just a final fuck you, but I honestly couldn't care at that point. I now realized how immature he was. I just blocked him. So yes, most of you were right, he was cheating on me. I'm thankful that I didn't move in with this jerk. I saw him for what he really was, an immature man-child. And yes, I'll be sending the video to the university, though I doubt they will do anything. But yes, this is the update, and thanks again for all the support and kind words. They truly mean so much. I never get when people do that sort of thing after they've been dumped or whatever. Like, I'm going to send a video of me making out with someone else that might make them jealous or, you know, like OP said, a final fuck you. It just makes them look like complete morons and just confirms OP getting rid of them in the first place, right? But what do you guys make of this situation? It was all a bit creepy to begin with, wasn't it? The pinata that looks like OP. Oof. And multiple people doing this at the same time. Yeah, it freaks me out a little bit. What do you guys make of this one? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. Now our next story comes from Impossible League 20, who says, am I the arsehole for humiliating my ex's new girlfriend in front of our friend group? Posting from my inactive account because there's some friends lurking in my main one. I, 22 female, broke up with my boyfriend, 24 male, around 8 months ago. We decided to mutually call it quits and parted in pretty good terms, which is good because we just so happen to share a friend group. After a rough patch, I decided to start taking a bit more care of myself. Eating better, going to the gym, going to therapy. The shift was pretty evident, both in my attitude and the way I look. My friend said I looked much happier and healthier, and I began gaining confidence little by little. Now, I'm a huge nerd. I play Dungeons & Dragons weekly, have thousands of hours in Stellaris, and most relevant to the story, I like to cosplay as a hobby. Most of my old cosplay involved characters that don't show their face or body too much. Hornet from Hollow Knight, Mono from Little Nightmares, etc. Oh, great game. But since I've been feeling more confident, I decided that for the big con in my city, I'd like to try something different. A friend convinced me of going as Viper and Chamber from Valorant. So for the past 6 months, we've been pouring most of our free time into these cosplays. 3 weeks ago, I sent a picture of me wearing the cosplay to the group chat, asking for feedback for the final details. My ex immediately DM'd me asking to please not wear that cosplay to the con because it might make his new girlfriend uncomfortable. I asked what about it would make her uncomfortable, and he refused to elaborate. I knew he was dating someone new, but I didn't know she was coming with us to the con. I tried to explain to him this was the work of months, and I couldn't just throw it all away just because a girl I'd never met felt uncomfortable about it. In the end, I wore it to the con, and it was a huge success. I tried to keep my distance from the larger chunk of our group because my ex and his new girl were with them, but we did spend a good part of the day with them. Throughout the whole thing, the new girl kept making snide comments at me and laughing whenever I got asked to pose for pictures. Everyone looked uncomfortable, but nobody said anything. After leaving the con to have dinner though, another friend asked the new girl if she wouldn't like to try cosplay as well. Her answer was, why would I need more attention from guys? I already have a boyfriend, I'm not a slut. I snapped and told her to stop acting like a pick-me bitch just because I got attention all day. She started to cry immediately. My ex steps in, asking me to apologize. I tell him I'll only do it if she apologizes for the way she's been acting around me all day. more and more of our friends start to join the screaming match, and it gets so bad we end up getting kicked out of the restaurant. It's been 5 days. My ex is threatening to leave the friend group if I don't apologize. Honestly, wouldn't care if he did, but some of my friends are asking me to do so to stop him from leaving. Should I cave? Am I the arsehole? Hell no. OP was literally minding her own business on this. She spent months making cosplay costumes, and I know how long they take. As I mentioned before in previous posts, me and my brother used to do some like Star Wars ones here and there, make helmets and all this kind of stuff. Epicura before 3D printers. We'd have to make them out of paper and then use car body filler and layers to actually make the helmets. These costumes can take a very long time to make. And OP tried to stay away from the ex and his girlfriend at the con as well, and wasn't even the one making things awkward. It was the new girlfriend who chose to take the shots all day because clearly she's bothered by the attention OP was getting, was jealous of it or whatever. And then she just couldn't help herself, saying, why would I need the attention from guys? I already have a boyfriend. I'm not a slut. I mean, that's not a subtle dig. That's basically announcing to the entire table who she was talking about. I wouldn't back down from this because, if he's threatening to leave the friend group because nobody wants to pretend his girlfriend wasn't being rude all day, that's his bloody choice. But I'm also shocked at the friend group themselves for not taking your side in this, that she basically called you a slut and they're all just like, they're happy with this? I mean, what the hell? The commenter says, I'll apologize after your girlfriend apologizes for implying that we, the people cosplaying, were sluts. Short, sweet, and to the point. Let's see his hypocrite ass respond to that. I'd also tell your friend group that this is your stance. It's the most fair one for everyone involved. Theoborn says, not the arsehole. So it's perfectly okay for her to bully you all day, but the second you clap back, which anyone would do after being called a slut, she's suddenly the victim and you have to apologize. No, she shouldn't give if she can't take. She started it. It's not your fault that she's so ridiculously insecure that she has to tear you down to feel better about herself. It's not your fault she's immature. Commodore says, not the arsehole. You shouldn't even let your current partner demand how you dress, let alone her ex. Quoting, my ex is threatening to leave the friend group if I don't apologize, and then says, call his bluff. To be frank, if your quotes are actually exactly what was said, including how ex's girlfriend called you a slut, it is absolutely wild to expect you to apologize. And one more comment who says, not the arsehole. Sounds like to start with, the new girlfriend was jealous of you for whatever reason. Maybe ex was noticing how you had changed. In any case, ex was out of line for asking you not to wear the cosplay. The new girlfriend was being childish, sniping at you with the slut comments. As a matter of course, you don't call someone a slut and don't expect them not to respond. What you said was mild compared to what she said to you. Don't cave. Your ex is being dramatic, and if you cave, you're asking to be bullied by new girlfriend from here on out. So OP does come in with an update and says, wow, I didn't expect this post to blow up as much as it did. Thank you all for your support, understanding, and kind comments. First of all, I want to apologize if the redaction in the original post wasn't the best. English is not my first language, and I kinda wrote it in the heat of the moment. Second of all, my ex left the friend group and took his new girl with him. Good riddance. After a final attempt at making me apologize, he left the chat through a long paragraph of text and a block to every single person involved. The two ex-friends who asked me to apologize followed suit. I'm not surprised in the slightest, since they've been his friends longer than they have been mine. I will admit, I'm a bit heartbroken about it, but I'll get over it. Of course, my ex DM'd me to call me an immature bitch one last time, then proceeded to block me as well. I'm honestly fine with that. Now for some clarifications on the original post. Yeah, I will admit the screaming match was very immature and impolite of us. I don't want to make excuses, but after a whole day at the con, we were all tired, hungry, and very annoyed. Emotions were running high and we behaved very immaturely. Thankfully, that particular place is used to dealing with con attendees and weren't too harsh on us. We did leave a big tip as an apology. To everyone asking if I'll post a cosplay, I'm flattered, but while I believe I've become a bit more confident in my skills, I don't think I'm ready to blast it to thousands of people on the internet just yet. Maybe I'll upload something to my main account at some point, but definitely not here. Just in case anyone wants to know what the screaming match scene looked like, only 5 people out of the 11 were wearing regular clothes. The others were all in cosplay. Viper, myself, Chamber, 2 Mikus, a Kava from Genshin, and a friend's original character. Again, thank you all, and sorry if you're expecting a more dramatic update. I'll reach out if anything more interesting happens, though I really doubt it. See ya. This is one of those situations where basically the trash really does take itself out, because it was probably the healthiest outcome. The ex, the girlfriend, and the two friends who were backing them all left together and everyone else stayed, right? I think that's a pretty good outcome, although, you know, it's shitty in the moment, of course. And OP did mention a good point, which obviously people were calling OP out for. It was all a bit shitty letting this boil over in the restaurant for the staff and other people that were eating, but I'm going to tell you now, and I'm not going to lie to you, of course, I would have loved it if I was eating there, because you know me, I'm a right nosy bastard, and seeing a bunch of cosplay characters getting heated, what a story that would be, right? I just watched a pair of Mikus get thrown out of a restaurant. But I think it also has to be said, the ex's final move to OP is to call it an immature bitch and then block everyone, you know. It just feels very much on brand for him, right? But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from flakysuitor from the Relationships subreddit and says, my 25 female love interest turned down a second date with me, 27 male. Because I'm flaky. Should I fix this, or is she crazy? It starts. I messed up the title, of course. It should read my love interest 25 female turned down a second date with me 27 male. Hey Reddit, I'm a bit stumped. I went on a date with a fantastic girl about 3 weeks ago. She's gorgeous, intelligent, has a sharp sense of humor, and seems very kind. I'm pretty interested in her. We chatted on and off for the next 2 weeks and ran into each other at a party. We gave each other a good bit of distance but flirted when we saw each other. Before I left, I saw her talking to another guy and didn't want to look clingy, so I didn't say goodbye. So last week she initiated texting with me and we chatted back and forth for a good bit. She immediately responded to my text, like she usually does, and was playful. I asked her if she'd be interested in seeing me the following week, this week, and she said she would be. So on Sunday we chatted about going out. She said she was interested. I had to get into work because it's a busy season for us. My industry closes books in December for the year and we get crazy. I've been pretty busy with work and friends. This morning, 5 days later, I asked her out for Saturday. I got this back. I pasted it verbatim. Hey, I hope your week has been going well. Listen, I've been giving our situation a lot of thought. While I was very interested in you after our first date, I don't know that I want to go out with you anymore. You've been giving off sort of flaky and uninterested vibes. Normally I would ride this out and see what happens, but honestly, at this point in my life, I don't have time for a lukewarm friendship/dating situation. I'm incredibly busy at work, with family and volunteering, and I just can't budget time for someone who disappears in the middle of conversations and can't plan in advance to see me. I'm sorry, I really did like you, but I've just lost interest based on the last few weeks. I don't see us as compatible, based on my expectations of people in my life. OP then says, I'm flawed. This came out of nowhere for me. We just started talking. I didn't want to seem clingy, and I know we're both busy people. I also know she's talking to other guys because she referenced a recent date in a funny story she told. Honestly, I don't think I did anything wrong. I think if I apologize, she'd probably agree to go out with me, but doesn't this seem kind of crazy? Like she wants a super fast commitment. We've been on one date and now she's saying I'm not into her enough. I know she's absolutely slammed at work and has been working almost 12-hour days and on weekends, but you can't rush a relationship just so it fits into your schedule. What gives, Reddit? Is this girl just clingy or did I mess up? Should I apologize and ask for a second date? So a commenter says to OP, did you try to see her in the 3 weeks since the date? OP replies, well, no. I knew she'd be at the party that I went to and looked forward to seeing her, but it's the sort of thing I'd go to anyway. I guess 3 weeks is a sort of a long time. Commenter says, so she thinks you're flaky and you think she is crazy, and one way or another she isn't interested. Why would you continue to pursue this? OP says, I guess crazy might have been too strong. I can't tell if she wants something super serious or if I accidentally defied social norms by waiting so long to ask her out again. Commenter says, maybe. I mean, usually if you're interested in someone, you don't wait to ask them out. You ask them out, but at the same time, she wasn't exactly rushing to ask you out either, was she? Either way, take it as a learning experience, but don't continue to pursue this. She made it very clear how she feels, and even if she is wrong, you trying to convince her otherwise will not come across the way you want. OP replies saying, well, when I asked her about seeing her again on Sunday, she did say, sure, have any free time in the next couple of days. And I told her I had a client meeting on Monday and would know my availability better after. Then I text her this morning. Commenter says, quoting, or if I accidentally defied social norms by waiting so long to ask her out again. And then says, personally, I'm confused why you went on a date with her 3 weeks ago and just text her for 2 weeks before asking her out again. 3+ weeks in between dates. Me, that says you're not really into her. Opie says, I guess I just didn't want things to move too fast. I got out of a 3-year relationship in late September. I wanted some time to relax, reconnect with friends, and get my life back in order. I wasn't planning on dating for a long time, but then this girl came along and she seemed so great that I didn't want to miss out on getting to know her. I equated time between dates with taking it slow. I thought maybe if we slowly got to know each other, she wouldn't need commitment right away. I didn't, or don't, feel ready for a girlfriend yet. Biff says, so you asked to meet up this week, waited until Friday to make a date for Saturday. I would have turned you down too. Why wait until the absolute last minute? Opie says, I guess I just didn't think about how bad it would look. I didn't know if Saturday would be open for me because my friend was trying to get tickets to a basketball game. I thought it would be easier to fit her into my schedule than an NBA game. Things were still so early, so I thought we'd go out when we were free and go from there. But maybe I was being too casual and blew it. Commenter says 3 weeks in between dates is pretty long. Did you try to see her or initiate plans or just casually text? I know you said you're busy and don't want to seem clingy, but when you're really into someone, you make time to see them. She probably wants someone who shows more interest in pursuing her. She's not crazy, maybe just incompatible with you, like she said. I don't think the situation is unsalvageable though. Opie replies saying, we just casually texted. I dressed up a bit for the party I knew she'd be at, but then she was busy chatting with people, so we didn't talk much. She asked some other guy to be on her flip cup team and seemed to be avoiding me, but maybe that was my imagination. I told her I wanted to see her again, but then waited almost 10 days to give her a day. Maybe that came off worse than I thought. Commenter replied saying, yeah, I would think you're not that interested too. You gotta strike when the iron's hot at the beginning. That's how most relationships get kick-started. Opie says, I guess I just wanted to slowly get to know her. I got out of a relationship about 2 months ago that lasted for 3 years. I wanted to make sure that I really looked around and set my life back on track and reconnect with friends before I was involved in something super serious right away. I thought more space between the dates would give us time to get to know each other slowly and prevent it from being like we were official within 2 weeks. I'm not ready for a girlfriend this second, but I thought this girl was awesome and I didn't want to miss out on a chance to get to know her. I haven't been seeing anyone else though. Oh, dearie me, that was almost a painful read, wasn't it? You know, I don't think she was asking, to move in together or anything super fast. She was just like basically asking for a second date, like saying, sure, have any free time in the next couple of days? Just like, I like you, let's go on another date. Then OP just evaporates for another week. I agree with one of the commenters though, that this could be salvageable if you just, talk to her honestly, talk about your feelings, your worries, etc. and, maybe just show a bit more commitment to it. But OP did update the post and says, I decided to write an update since the holiday season is coming to a close. So I got a sound thrashing in the comment section of my last post. I deserved it though. Reading it, I cringe at the fact that I asked people if people thought she was crazy. In retrospect, I think I knew I fucked up big time, but I didn't want to admit it to myself. I was hoping for validation and did not get it. I wanted to walk away scotch-free without having to do any reflection. But you all didn't let me do that. So Reddit. A few days after the post, I reached out to Renee, my love interest, and told her I wanted to grab a drink and talk about what happened. To my amazement, she agreed to come. Later I found out that she just didn't want things to be awkward with the group, but still, she came. I apologized and explained a lot of the background of my previous relationship and how hard the breakup was on me. Turns out she already knew that from our friend group. I told her I didn't want to rush things, but that I liked her a lot and I was being immature. She pushed during the conversation for me to verbalize why I put off talking to her. Basically, I think it came down to a fear of being hurt and wanting to maintain some semblance of control. She's amazing, and I knew that I would probably end up falling hard for her, but I was scared to get gutted again, like in my last relationship. I thought if I only saw her every 2 weeks, I would fall slower and things would be okay. So Renee agreed to go out with me again. We've been on 6 dates in the last month, and every time one is ending, I ask her when I can see her again. She teases me a lot about it, which I deserve. I'm really, really happy. I can feel my heart flip when she makes eye contact and smiles at me. She makes me laugh so hard, and I'm amazed by how hard of a worker she is. She's exceptionally kind, volunteers at a soup kitchen twice a week, and donates a good amount of her salary to a homeless shelter. I could listen to her tell stories for hours, and I find myself thinking about her constantly during the day. Basically, she's amazing, and I almost lost her because I'm a moron. I've started planning how I'm going to ask her to be my girlfriend. Do adults do that, or is this a high school thing? Just wanted to update to let you all know I'm not a complete waste of time. A commenter says, about asking her to be your girlfriend, just explain to her that you want to be exclusive with her. For the way you explained how you feel about her, I hope that you have been already. And you just want to make it clear that you want to take the relationship to the next level. She sounds like a great girl and a good match. Best of luck to you both, and just remember to always be kind. Opie says, absolutely. Haven't been out with anyone else. No interest in it at all. Commenter says, off topic, but OP, when you go on these dates, who pays for what? Opie says, I paid the first time we went out and I covered the apology drinks. The next time we got dinner for the first time and she tried to pay for all of it, but I felt bad since I picked the restaurant, so we split. She insisted on paying the next time and we've rotated since then. I'm a little more traditional and wouldn't mind paying for the first several dates, but she says she wants to be an equal, and I honestly respect that a lot. Plus she probably makes more money than I do, so there's that. I'm just super glad that OP did take some accountability, took a step back and did actually look at the comments and respond to them and, worked on himself at the same time. There's obviously some comments on this worried about him, talking about not being ready for a relationship, then almost like falling head over heels for this girl, but hey, life's life, right? But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories. Your love, your support, your time, it always means the absolute world to me. So thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And I will see you in the next one. Take care and much love.
Yeah, man, I remember being so naive when life was good, weather and palm trees. Back in the day, you were everything I need. But then along came a time when you crushed my dreams. Oh yeah, you played me like a fool when you made me believe that the line between love wasn't thick enough to read. Oh yeah, you see we in the spare crime everywhere. You're selling false hope cause you just don't care.